We will have a collapse someday because history shows it always happens, but I never expected to get this high.
So how long can this be stretched out?
Well, that's an extremely good question. If you ask the Secretary of the Treasury, her name is Janet Yellen, she was head of the central bank. She said, don't worry, we have everything under control. We're not going to have any problems. Now, she's got a couple of fancy Ivy League degrees, so if you believe her, it's going to go on forever. No problems, never any problems. There's a theory going around now called MMT, more money today. They say, don't worry, we'll just print it. There's not a problem at all. So if you listen to them, you should not worry at all. However, I have read a little history and I've been around a while, and I know that throughout history, when you build up gigantic debts, eventually it leads to a crisis or a semi-crisis. We had a problem in 2008, as you remember. Well, since then, Jake, the debt has skyrocketed. All over even China now has a lot of debt. China helped bail out the world in 2008, but even China now has a lot of debt. So it's going to be a big mess.
What do you make of many of these big time bankers and big time, centralized financial institutions have talked about this is a moment in time for a new Bretton Woods? You've had many of these political figures also, use this same phrase of this is a time for a reset. And you've had a plethora of these various central bankers talk about removing the dollar as reserve currency. What do you make of all that?
Well, okay, so let's say we have a new Bretton Woods. What are they going to do? Wipe out the debt? Well, there are a lot of creditors who are not going to be particularly happy if they wipe out the debt. Endowments, insurance companies, pension plans are not going to be very happy if all of a sudden they found out the debt is wiped out. So sure, we can have a new Bretton Woods. We can all drink good wine and lots of tea and coffee, but what's the answer? And that's the problem right now, because the debt is the highest level ever in recorded history. And to repeat, America is the single largest debtor nation in world history. It's never happened like this before. So when will this end? I don't know. I'm not very good at market timing. At the moment, markets around the world are skyrocketing, nearly all markets. But that always comes to an end eventually. I'm not shorting anything right now, but I can see bubbles starting to form in some assets. So this is it's always in. Jake, I've been to this movie. I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends. I don't know when it's going to end, but I know in the next couple of years it's going to end, and it's not going to be fun.
So what do you make of the tremendous amount of people right now that have lost their business, they've lost their jobs? I mean, it's bad in America, but as an American citizen, personally in the country myself, you tend to hear just more about the incredible people that can't pay their rent and mortgage in America. But then you think about developing worlds that relied off tourism, and the government response has really we were already in a bad place before all of this happened. And now I just wonder, so do we go to a universal basic income, or what is your estimation on what happens with the incredible amount of people in trouble right now?
Well, Jake, it is certainly happening all over the world. America's not the only. I mean, we apparently, according to the numbers, have been hit worse by the virus than any other nation. And who knows if the numbers are valid or not. But it's certainly gotten worse and has not helped anybody. There are many companies, families, countries that are suffering, and it's not, unfortunately, it's not over yet. At least in most places, it's not over yet. You can come up with a universal basic income. I'm sure everybody, it sounds wonderful. But Jake, who's going to pay for it? Where's the money going to come from? That's my question again. Sure, MMT, more money today, says just print it. But Jake, I've seen this rodeo. It's not my first rodeo. I know that you can print it all day long, and it's fantastic. But eventually, that falls apart. It always has anyway, and I don't see why it would be different this time.
When you and I talked last, which was quite a while ago, gold was just off maybe its highs of August, September type of realm. So it was probably high 1900s or so. And you said, I'm waiting till the euphoria wears off. So has the euphoria worn off in gold and silver? Is this something you're a buyer of now?
It's not enough for me. I'm still waiting. I'm certainly going to buy more gold and silver. Don't think I'm not. I'll probably buy more silver than gold because it's cheaper on a historic basis. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. No, I'm not buying either at the moment, but I do plan to buy more of both before this is up. Jake, throughout history, when you have people lose confidence in money or governments, all of us peasants have some gold and silver in the closet. We have some silver under the bed over there. We forget what the politicians say, forget the academics. We're going to have some gold and silver hidden away, and I will too. And I will have more. I just don't know when I'm going to buy more.
Understood. How about uranium? Do you like uranium here? There's been a lot of talk about moving towards a carbon neutral, nuclear being one of the only things it seems like both sides of the political scale actually are not fighting over. What do you make of uranium?
Well, I own some uranium shares, and uranium is a great source of energy if you do it right. It's cheaper, it's longer lasting, it's cleaner, unless it explodes. If it blows up, it's not cleaner, but it's certainly cleaner and cheaper and more long lasting. Carbon, coal and oil and everything puts out a lot of fumes into uranium doesn't do anything except kill you if you get it wrong. So you have to get it right. But there have only been 3 or 4 major nuclear power problems in the last 50 years. So it doesn't have a bad record. I own uranium. We'll see.
So, do you have two young daughters?
2 young daughters.
2 young daughters. What are the most 17 and 13? And when you look at the world right now, especially, considering all that's happened over the last 12 months and the trajectory that, you and I would probably argue we were already on, but we maybe have expedited this trajectory by 10 years now. What are the important things for somebody right now for the future?
Well, the most important things are to be prepared because it's not going to be fun when we have problems next time. It never is fun, but next time is going to be worse because the debt is so high. So what I am trying to do with my daughters and everybody is to make sure that they develop their own personal skills. They both speak perfect Chinese, for instance. So I'm trying to prepare them for what perhaps will be the 21st century.